Estate Group show with local rock star realtor Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Good morning, Michele.
Good morning, Curtis.
And how are you doing this fine day now that you're back from Quebec?
Pretty good. Actually, I really loved Quebec City, and we had such a great show last week with the 3 guests that we had on, and I've never been to Quebec City, and I really, really loved it. And I had Quebec Poutine.
You did. You sent me photos, and my daughter was so jealous because Poutine is a food group to Cassidy. I kid you not, when she was in elementary school one time, like grade 2, they asked her favorite fruit, and she said gravy. And the teacher went, "No, Cassidy, that's not a fruit." She goes, "You're right, it's a vegetable." That was her comment. And the teacher thought it was so funny. I'm like, no, it's a food group to her.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and she'll tell you where the best poutines are. She's like a connoisseur.
I should have asked her where the best place was.
Well, she hasn't been to Quebec, and she's very jealous, and she says next time she's coming in your carry-on.
Okay, next time I'll bring a carry-on to make sure she can go in it.
You can stuff her in it, and she'll go with you.
So Halloween's this weekend.
It's All Hallows Eve, yes.
I see you're dressed up in your jersey.
I got my Canuck jersey on. I'm not taking it off now because the Canucks were not playing so well. And then I wore my jersey because I broke this out going, maybe I'm part of the problem because I haven't been wearing my jersey. Well, I have 4 or 5 of these, but this particular jersey, my Beret jersey, I put it on and they won Thursday night. And I feel it's because I was wearing this jersey. So I'm going to just wear it every day.
It's because of you.
I've been the problem. The reason the Canucks have not been winning is all on me.
On Monday, on actual Halloween day, we're gonna have our monthly luncheon with our group, and I'm gonna dress up as a raincoat.
As a raincoat?
Yeah, because we're gonna do a corn maze for the first time. I've never done a corn maze. We're gonna have lunch and do a corn maze, and it's gonna be raining. So why not dress up like a raincoat?
A rain on Halloween? What are the odds? You know, I look back to my childhood and how many years I had to wear a winter coat over top of my Halloween costume was pretty much every year. You were probably a little better off in Southern California.
Yes. Oh, wow. The sacks of candy I would come home with. It was unbelievable. But in Montana, the first night of snow in Kalispell and Lakeside area where I lived for a few years, Halloween night was always the first night of snow. I don't know why, but the years I lived there, it was always Halloween night, it snowed.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, well, it's a lot more like Canada. I mean, here it usually rains or it's cold. But, you know, whenever I think of California and Halloween, I just think of like E.T. I think the weather's like that, and there's some little alien in a bedsheet walking around getting Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, a few aliens. So have you ever done corn maze?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm trying to decide. I was looking on the reviews, Google, Man Farms or Fantasy Farms in Chilliwack or the Green Acres Chilliwack Corn Maze. I'm like, I don't know which one.
I have no idea. You know, I did one many years ago. I can't remember which one it was, but you know, the good thing about a corn maze is if you really get stuck, you can just push your way through. I mean, they don't like that because it kind of wrecks the maze, but.
Well, you know what? Monday is the last day of all the corn mazes, so it's probably going to be okay if we push you through.
There you go. So you should be fine no matter where you go. And then maybe next year on your palatial estate, you can have Richard plant a corn maze for you.
Oh, that would be fun. We are surrounded by corn farms. Actually, interesting. Why nobody there does that, but that's something to think about. Maybe I'll get my neighbors to make a maze next year.
You can do it on the hill.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Maze on the hill.
Might be too steep.
So if you or anybody wants to trick or treat on Monday early, maybe with your kids.
Like I'm short,
kids are now adults.
Yeah, I'm short, but I'm not that short. I can't quite pull it off.
We are giving away candy at our office at the Remax in Mission, downtown, the one way, from 3 to 5. Actually, all the kind of downtown stores will most of them, be giving away treats that day. So Monday from 3 to 5. Come on down.
Very cool.
So last week was a lot of fun. This week, you know.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun because I haven't seen pictures, but I'm sure there was wine glasses going on when you were talking to me, even though, well, there's a 3-hour time difference, I guess, but still.
Okay, there was.
Okay, I thought so.
I will admit.
You guys were having way too much fun.
I had a glass of red wine.
And I know that it was a conference, and I know what conferences are like. I've been to a couple myself, at least from what I can remember, I've been to a couple myself.
from years ago.
Yes.
I know this was the first one. We were scheduled to do it the year that COVID happened, and then it's been canceled. And so this is the first one back. So I was so happy seeing all my most of my colleagues, a lot of my colleagues we haven't seen in years from across Canada. Even some came from out of country. It was really neat. So it's the Canadian RE/MAX Conference. And we had CIBC Chief Economist Benjamin Tal. He was there, and he did a whole presentation. And actually, I have never, every year I hear economists. I go and I hear every year, right? But it's so dry, and it's, you yawn, but you're like, I have to hear this. Information's important. But he was so entertaining, Curtis. It was so fun. He is the funniest, down to earth, yet very, serious. He knows his stuff, right? But he had this humor throughout his whole presentation that really kept you kind of laughing and really interested. I got he's the best. So we're going to talk about a lot, some of the reports or the future outlook that he has.
All right.
And so that's on the show today. And on my website, on my blog, I'm actually uploading today his presentation, his actual slides that he went through. So that's going to be on my blog if you want to follow up and have a look at those. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. And what he says is he shared that Canadians will relocate to achieve more affordable housing. Rent inflation is starting to rise, and Canada's housing crisis is being intensified by labor shortages and rising input costs. So that we'll take a deep dive into it, though, later. But first, news and real estate reminders. So
news, you said that like we're breaking into breaking news. Like you need to put the hand up and do the whole breaking news.
Breaking news.
Come on, you're an actress. Go into full actor mode here and give us your best newscaster.
Who am I? Okay, so I'm sure proud of my RE/MAX family. As I mentioned with this conference that I was at, we all gathered together, and literally every time we gathered together, we raise money for the Children's Miracle Network, whether it's international, it's throughout Canada, of course, this one. And I, out of every transaction that I do, give to the BC Children's Miracle Network, so very local. But we raised over $160,000 for Children's Miracle Network at the conference, and it's hospitals for across Canada, of course, through the fundraisers at the event. So we had 50-50, we had an auction, and I'm really, really excited because I now am a motorcycle rider, as you know. Mm-hmm. And Bruce Johnson, he is a realtor who started about 5 years ago. He started this Ride for the Children, Ride for Miracles, and he rides his motorcycle across usually a province at a time, and he does it every couple years, and he stops at children's hospitals, and he stops at the RE/MAX offices and to raise money for the children. So now that I'm a motorcycle rider, not only am I going to be able to donate financially, but now I can be part of helping raise money and riding with him. So I'm excited to do that next time he does that. And because the children are our future, and changing kids' health and changing their lives changes our future for the better. So I love supporting Children's Miracle Network. Every single listing of mine, you'll always see a topper on top of it saying Miracle Home, so that everyone knows if you buy one of my listings, you are supporting Children's Miracle Network, and by, of course, listing with me or buying with me, you are also supporting, because every transaction of mine, I love to give to them. So that's the Miracle Homes. So I wanted to talk about now some news. Okay, so the Bank of Canada this last week on the 26th, of course, raised, no surprise there, raised the interest rates by 50 basis points. So not quite the 0.75% raise we thought they were going to do, but they did do by 50 basis points. So this means probably another raise in December, January when they meet again. Home prices fell for the first time in September. For the first time, for the sixth consecutive month as well, since our peak in earlier this year, it has fallen in September. So next week, we should have our stat show, and we'll see what October has brought us. But on average, 3.4% in the Fraser Valley for residential homes is what it went down in September. So it is a great time to be a buyer. Even though the interest rates are going up, it really is great time to be a seller too if you're buying in the same market. So always keep in mind timing in your life and timing in the market, and you make it work for you, and you'll always benefit with investing in real estate. So BC has capped the rate on rent increases. This is the next news. For 2023, we are looking at a total increase that you can raise your rent if you're a landlord by 2%. So for tenants out there, you're safe. Only 2% it could be raised. And landlords, there you have it. You can't raise it more than 2% for 2023. Okay, another set of news. Now, we talked about this a couple shows ago, but wanted to remind because it's just around the corner. There's 2 major changes the government is implementing starting January 1st. And that is one being the cooling off period, where residential buyers will have 3 business days after an accepted offer to rescind their decision. So not as bad as we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be a lot more days than that. And this is for residential purchases only, not commercial. And so there you have it. It's after it's accepted. It's 3 business days, not just regular days. And for me in real estate, realtors, we work 7 days a week. So, hey, maybe it does include Saturday and Sundays. Business days for me. Anyways, the second major change is that foreign buyers are not able to purchase, again, residential real estate for 2 years. So we thought maybe it might be 3 years. It's 2 years, and that's for residential purchases for foreign buyers. So it looks like they'll still be able to purchase commercial. So that's good. Now, I know we probably have to go on our break. So when we come back, we'll hear all the news about CIBC Chief's economist Benjamin Tal and what he has to say.
All right. Well, if people want more information about you, maybe want to see your listings and things like that, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
We're back with more right after this. And here we are. We are back with segment number 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. You're back from Quebec. You've had the poutine. You saw a bunch of people you haven't seen for years, and you just got a smile from ear to ear today.
I also had the Montreal smoked steak sandwich.
Oh, yes. That you have to have that.
In Montreal.
In Montreal.
Yes. It was fab.
Very nice. I got a cousin in Montreal. I should have had you, meet up with her.
You should have.
No, you don't want to talk to my cousin.
Why not?
Because Stacy. She doesn't listen. I won't have to worry about her. No, my cousin Stacy is a year older than me, and so growing up, we were pretty close and picked on each other a lot.
What brought her over there?
A man.
Ooh, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. Love brought her to Quebec.
Love. Now it's not Valentine's weekend. It's
but then
Halloween
that love
weekend.
didn't last, and then she met another guy who's really great.
Aww. Does she speak French fluently?
She didn't for the first while, but she's just through osmosis, being around it, she speaks it quite well now. But in Montreal, you don't really have to have it, right? But
did you know they have knots? A knots farm, like rides in Montreal.
I did not know that.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know either until I was on my way to Quebec City, and then we got to go back. That was with Christine, colleague out of my office, and we're like, we're doing that when we come back. So on our way back, we did it. We didn't know it was knots at the time. We just thought we saw this Ferris wheel. We saw a wood framed ride, and we thought how fun. And then we get there, and it's a whole knots. It's a whole amusement park.
That's like, for Southern California, it took you right back home.
Oh, so fun. She didn't want to quite go on all the rides. I wanted to go on every ride possible. I wanted to scare the heck out of myself, and I did.
Because you had Knott's Berry Farm, you had Disneyland, you had Universal, all there for you.
Yeah. Oh, I love it all. Yeah, we went a lot. And then I had a family member who worked at Disneyland, so we got some good deals.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was great. Now, we are going to talk about what CIBC Chief Economist Benjamin Tal had to say and what he has delivered with his outlook. And I'm not going to be quite as funny as him, believe
come
it or
on.
not.
Why not? Again, you got this performer in you. You're an actress. You're from California. Your dad worked with Elvis. Come on.
What more?
Yeah, come on. You know what? One day I want you to do an entire show in various accents. We'll do that,
Oh, but I can't do accents. Every time I try, it comes out Southern. And then when I try to do a Southern accent, it doesn't come out like anything. So.
Okay, well, we'll have you try to be English and you can be Southern. I think it'll be great. Howdy, y'all. It can be great. We have our Southern Belle, Michele Cummins, doing the real estate show.
Okay, next time we'll try that. I got to rehearse.
Oh, right. Sorry.
So economist Benjamin Tal, so he believes that the overnight target rate, and believe me, he is right on the money. I mean, for years, that's why he's CIBC's chief economist. But he believes it will remain at the 3.25% or near there for the duration of 2023. And further, he says he doesn't see that it can go much higher into 2023. However, they do not expect the Bank of Canada to begin easing rates until the earlier part of 2024, is what he says. So the Bank of Canada would risk, this is what he says, of course, overshooting and interest rates if it looks at its overnight rate if they do above 4%, according to him. So it was really interesting how he said it and what he went on to. So I'm going to read through this, but definitely go on my website and check out the blog for the slides and all his graphs. You know how I'm a graph person, and
you like your stats and graphs and all that fun stuff.
I do, and it's fully right all there to check out because it's only privy to Remax agents who were there, right? So wanted to share that with everyone, though. So although he indicated that improving supply chain conditions are a positive sign for Canada's inflation outlook. And delivering a keynote address he just did at the National Mortgage Conference hosted in Vancouver by Mortgage Professionals Canada, which is MPC. So Tal said that the central bank could avert a deep recession by ending its rate hike trajectory after one or two further jumps, potentially by 50 basis points, which just happened because this report came out right before this last week. Interest rate hike, followed by another 25-point increase. So we'll see if maybe that's what they do in December, January. So he says, I believe that if the bank stops at 3.5 or 3.75%, even 4%, you can have this recession that is happening now without major damage. And therefore, I will not call it a recession, he said. However, you go to 4.5% or 4.8%, as many people expect, you cause a significant recession with the unemployment rate rising at 2 or 3%, which will be recessionary. That will be, people believe, what you need to do in order to take inflation to 2%. I disagree, he says. So around 50% of the recent decline in inflation has been caused by easing supply chain pressures, he said, meaning that his message to the Bank of Canada is to stop at 3.5% or 3.7% and call it a day. See what happens. You don't have to overshoot, he says. At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, supply chain disruptions were responsible for about 90% of inflation in Canada, although that figure is declining at a substantial rate and now sits around 55%. That trend means softer inflation of goods is likely as a result, something that would be an all-around positive development for the economy, Tal said. So once the central bank rate reaches its peak, it's unlikely to start falling in 2023, according to Tal, although he forecasts that cuts the following year would eventually bring it to about 2.75% as a new normal rate. He added that the 5-year rate is likely to start going down in 2023 ahead of the Bank of Canada rate, but also cautioned that there's no guarantee the central bank will hit pause on its rate hiking cycle if inflation remains a persistent challenge. When you're talking about inflation with clients, it's important to understand, and that he's talking to the mortgage brokers and realtors, that if you give the Bank of Canada two options, one is recessions, the order is inflation rising. They will take a recession any day, he said. And he explained more about it at the conference. They are telling you that. The Bank of England is basically telling you, we are aiming at a recession. We are cheering for a recession. The Bank of Canada is not using this kind of language, but definitely thinking this way. The same goes for the Fed. That's because the bank has spent 4 decades establishing a reputation as inflation fighters, according to Tal, something it wouldn't be prepared to sacrifice to stave off the possibility of an economic recession. The bank does not care about inflation today, but has its sights set on inflation expectations or what Canadians expect price growth to be in the near future, Tal said. They have to show us that they mean business. That's why they raised interest rates by 100 basis points. That's why later this month, which just happened, they will raise by another 50 basis points, which is exactly what they did. They want to make sure that you and I understand that they're not behind the curve and they're going to fight inflation and bring it to 2% regardless of what happens. Canada's annual inflation rate fell for a third consecutive month in September, although it inched down by just 0.1% over August's result and was 0.2% higher than economists had anticipated. The COVID-19 pandemic has played a huge role in contributing to that ballooning inflation, and TAL indicated that while it will remain a factor in the months ahead, it's unlikely to have as severe an impact on the economy as during 2020 and 2021. So yes, COVID will be with us even next year, but it will not dominate us. We're going to see a transition, and it's happening maybe already, from a pandemic to an endemic, he said. The virus is not dead. It will be with us, but we will have enough ammunition to fight it. It will not dominate the agenda. It might impact the agenda, but it will not dominate it like it has over the past 2.5 years. So that is the report that TAL had to say. And then just to go a little bit further, CMHC Deputy Chief Economist predicts a 15% housing price drop by the second quarter of 2023. So Canada Mortgage and Housing Corp is predicting housing prices will continue to drop in 2023, but is warning the fall will do little for affordability. So Patrick Perrier, the housing agency's deputy chief economist, said in a report Thursday that he expects the national average home price to fall, and this is national, 15% from where it's currently at $770,800. The peak season in the first quarter of this year, which was kind of mid-February, by the end of the second quarter of 2023. On an annual basis, he sees prices growing 2.6% in 2022, compared with 21.3% in 2021, and then declining 6.3% in 2023, and rising 2.1% in 2024. So we might be at this for another year or so. So Perrier attributed that he moves housing demand showing and interest rates rising. Despite the price decline, Perrier believes housing affordability will not improve because any benefits that can be reaped from lower prices will be offset by higher interest rates and combined with an increasingly competitive rental market. So those who are current renters that were planning to purchase a house, they won't be able to do it. So they'll stay in the rental market. And unfortunately, we might see others that are currently owners that because of the deterioration in their employment and income conditions might have to sell and go on into the rental market. So those are some of the things that he sees may be happening. So Perrier, he also sees a lack of affordability occurring as the country heads into a recession by the end of this year is what he says, or maybe next year, but added that the downturn will not be as severe as the last, and a recovery will begin in the second half of 2023. So you know what? There's always ups and downs in life. There's always ups and downs in our personal lives, business lives. You got to learn to ride with it. That's not his quote. That's mine. I just added that just so y'all know.
Nothing lasts forever, not even your problems.
It's true. So there's always hope. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And there's always ways of making every day amazing if you just have that mindset. So have that mindset. And it is a great market for a lot of people. And it's a great life. So enjoy it and have joy. So, okay, my new listings, I have some amazing new listings, and I've got 7 open houses this weekend. I am busy.
You are definitely busy.
I had time to do this, always time to do this. Love seeing you at 8 a.m. in the morning.
No, you don't.
But I am.
That's the coffee talking.
I'm only on my second cup. And I am going to have a great 2 open houses today. And myself, I'm hosting, and a couple tomorrow. But I have 7 in total throughout the weekend. So have a look on my socials to see them and my coming soon listings and my new listings. And if you're interested in a land assembly, I've got a great one in Chilliwack. If you're looking at purchasing a business or commercial, I've got a couple amazing commercial listings as well. And I could tell you all about it when if you want to give me a call. And I want to end with a quote of the week. There are okay, Curtis is looking at me so funny right now.
Logistics?
No. Okay, this is from Chip Gaines. Maybe I should have you say it.
Oh, I'll probably screw it up just like he would. But it can't be that deep if it's Chip. Let's hear what you got.
But you could probably say it like Chip with his voice.
I don't know.
There are logical decisions and emotional decision. Buying a house is a little bit of both.
Logical chip gains. Come on, Joanne's all the logic in that relationship. But it's a true statement.
It is. It's a real estate statement, and it's from our friend Chip Gaines, who we still have to get in the studio with us.
Absolutely. We'd have to block off at least an hour for that show, though.
At least.
Yeah. All right. Well, if people want more information about what you do as a realtor, to see those open houses and listings and things like that, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.